Iron Oak. I'm excited to spend a few minutes talking about 2023. First off, this past weekend we kicked off our calendar of events with the Sprint Triathlon and had a record turnout. This past Monday, we started our Nutrition Challenge, and we're excited to roll out many more great events throughout the year. Now, for the big announcement. In December, we asked the community to help us go online and write a review about their experience at Iron Oak. Not only is it fun for us to read these reviews, but it really does help promote the business. And so we want to say thank you, and we look forward to adding several new members this year and bringing them into our community. We are excited to announce today that we will have an athletic recovery room. Most of you guys are aware that in November, we started construction of this space that was the old kitchen. And first of all, we're going to have a shower, right? Something that I've always wanted to have at the gym, but we just never had the budget and the time to really go through that process. So first of all, the shower and sink and that enclosure is ready to roll, so people can start using that immediately. Now, the other two things in the recovery center are going to be the sauna and the cold plunge. Both have tremendous health benefits, and we're going to share some today, but a lot on social media going forward. All those items should be operational and ready to go in the next week. So we're targeting a February 1st kickoff. But this is the general layout of the space. So we'll have the cold plunge, the sauna in the corner. It's a corner unit. And then we'll have towels and towel service available on the other table, and then the shower and that enclosure there. So that's the general layout of the space. We'll be working through the final touches this week. But I want to spend the next few minutes talking about the equipment and why we went with what we purchased, because they are the best in the business. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to have in the room. First of all, we're going to have an infrared sauna made by a brand called Clearlight Jacuzzi. They are the industry standard for infrared saunas for a couple reasons. First of all, the wood that they use is a mahogany, which is a very dense wood. So for a high frequency place like what we're going to use, you want to have a wood that's very, very dense. Second thing is that wood is sourced from Canada, and so it's not processed or treated with any chemicals, which is obviously really good. You don't want to have a bunch of chemicals on the wood that you're sitting on, and in especially a heated environment. The second thing that's probably even more important is the heater technology. So infrared saunas are not all created equal, but their heater technology is both, or all three. It's near, mid, and far infrared sauna wavelengths. And we'll talk more about that on the next slide. But the heater technology is on this panel in the front, those two heaters here on the front, and then on the panels and side walls of the actual back part of the unit. It's a 4-person sauna, so we're hoping that this is kind of a community environment where you and your friends will go back there and do this together. It does have Bluetooth speakers, so you'll be able to connect and listen to some music, and then the main control panels here on the wall, as well as a chromotherapy light up top. So that is the look and feel of the sauna. Let's talk about some of the benefits, right? There's 3 buckets that I really would think about sauna and sauna health benefits. It's been well documented for a long time that in different regions, especially in Finland and in Russia, they've used heat and sauna therapy, and in both those regions, they've seen a ton of documented research that's come out about individuals who did that on a frequent basis. But for today, I'd like to highlight just really the 3 buckets, right? So general health as one, athletic performance, and then detoxification. For general health, right, a lot of the published material, and we'll highlight some of the articles online, but really it comes down to they've saw significant reductions. They followed a group of several thousand individuals who saunaed for about a 20-year time period. And what the conclusions they drew from that was that all death-caused mortality was reduced significantly when the sauna was used frequently. They're saying 2 to 3 times a week or more. They saw a significant reduction in cardiovascular or cardiac health-related issues, and then a decrease in Alzheimer's and dementia, right? So those are your general health benefits, really. So in my opinion, those are all big things that you'd want to stay away from. So this is obviously a really good thing. The second thing, and we're all CrossFitters, right? We want to have maybe some performance advantages. The sauna really does help improve circulation, right? It stimulates the body almost like you're doing a light exercise. So you'll notice that when you sit in the sauna, your heart rate will go up. You'll notice that you're going to feel much better because your inflammation levels will go down, and that's really a relationship between the dilation, the movement of new blood to your extremities, to your joints. So we're going to see lower inflammation, reduction in joint stiffness, and overall, people who sauna on a frequent basis talk about how their sleep at night is actually better. So if you're getting better sleep, you're going to recover faster and be ready to go the next day. Now, the third bucket, which I think is really unique to sauna, right, is you're sweating, right? And detoxification is so important. Over your lifetime, you have lived in a variety of environments. You have worn different clothes. You have been maybe exposed to different chemicals or cleaning products. The ability to detoxify some of those chemicals out of your system is so critical. And what's the best way to do that? Is to sweat. And so if we can do that on a frequent basis, we're going to be able to move some of those chemicals and pathogens out of the system. So really important. So those are your three buckets, right? General health, athletic performance, and then some detoxification benefits. Let's talk about cold. So first of all, the equipment we're going to have back here is made by a company called Plunge. To me, they're making the best product today on the market for a couple reasons. But if you think about the evolution of people getting cold, right? It started, several years ago where people were doing big ice baths and stuff like that. And that's awesome. It's fun, but it's really hard to replicate and have that available on a regular basis. You have to go buy the ice. You then have to drain the tub every time. And you don't have something you can, repeatedly use for a lot of folks. So companies like Plunge have come out with I would say a very turnkey system. So we went with the extra large tub, which means that it is longer and taller. And why I think that's super important is the height of the tub went up by about 5 inches over the standard, which allows for most individuals to be able to soak up to their neck very comfortably. You can see the individual here. I think they put this on the webpage. He was like 6'3" and I think 250, right? So he's, a larger individual and fits very easily in the tub. The second thing I liked about the XL version of this is it comes with a bigger chiller. So think about cold, right? How does it work? Well, the tub has a constant circulation. It goes through the chiller. The chiller drops the temperature down, but inside that chiller, there's also the cleanliness that comes into the system. So there's ozone sanitation, which oxidizes the water and any contaminants that go through the filtration. And then there's also several filters on the back of the unit that'll catch the larger debris. So really, when you think about it, this is a very clean unit. This is something that's intended to be used by many people throughout the day. So the 1 horsepower chiller will maintain the temperature at a very low temp. You're not going to have to worry about the temperature rising as people use it. It has the filtration. It has the ozone sanitation. And then there are some chemicals that are used, but it's not harsh. It's not going to be like chlorines. It's like hydrogen peroxide and some other sanitation that we'll put in there. We'll do that every day, but we'll probably drain the tub probably once a week. We have pH strips, almost like you're taking care of a jacuzzi or a sauna or a jacuzzi or a pool. We'll have some pH strips that we'll use, and that'll kind of dictate how we regulate the dosage of the non-chemicals. So at a high level, looking forward to getting you guys in the cold, but let's talk about those benefits, right? So again, 3 buckets really. The first one I'm going to talk about really is the general health again, right? So there's a lot of published material, but the first thing that a lot of folks talk about is just increased energy and mood. One of the things that I think if y'all have heard of Wim Hof, right? Wim Hof, if you don't know his backstory, go check it out. But he really turned to the ice to help him with depression and mood regulation. The second bucket that really sticks out to me when we think about cold is, again, in the athletic department, right? So how can we improve our performance? And so, again, you'll see benefits here of using the cold to reduce inflammation, to lower your core body temperature, especially in Houston and what we do in our gym, right? Our core temperature gets pretty elevated, and it might sustain at an elevated level because of the Houston heat. So if we're able to, at some point, go back there and hop in the cold plunge, drop that core temperature, we're going to see our body start to recover. We can go back out and maybe do more work. We'll sleep better at night. And then the third bucket really is, again, getting into folks that talk about stress management. Getting into the cold is not easy. Every time I do it, it's still, you got to get in, right? But your body begins to learn how to cope with that and begin to focus on your breath and the things that would train. You do that on a daily basis, you'll be able to manage stress and other stressful environments throughout your normal activities. We'll publish more details on this, but we're really excited about having both the heat and the cold exposure for you. Let's talk now about member expectations, right? So when we kick this off in February, there'll be a new waiver that goes out the door, right? So obviously this is a new service that we're going to offer. Sauna and cold does have some health benefits, but we do want to make sure that you guys are talking to your physicians and also read through the waiver, right? I mean, there are some risks of doing either of these, so we want to make sure that those are documented and that you understand that the liability for those. The second thing we'll talk about is there'll be a separate video that talks about how to use the equipment, maybe some protocols, some best practices, and walk you through what a good starting point would be for both the sauna and the cold immersion. We're going to do this all through a reservation system on Wodify. So under appointments, you'll be able to log into each day and reserve a spot for the sauna. We're going to target, again, a 45-minute window, and that allows then a 15-minute transition so folks to get in and out. The sauna, again, can be up to 4 people, so this is a great opportunity for you to coordinate with your classmates or your friends and say, hey, let's do 4:30 class, and then let's do the sauna afterwards, and let's make that reservation. That being said, we're asking that everyone wear appropriate clothing, right? So this is just some general guidelines we're going to put out there, right? So full coverage, bathing suits, exercise clothes, that's going to be what probably most folks are going to be wearing. We just want to make sure that we're covered up and that we're going to be in a public environment to an extent, right, where other people are going to be coming in and out of the space. So just make sure that we're kind of abiding by that appropriate clothing. We're going to utilize towels, so we're going to have a towel service, which means that Iron Oak is providing towels. We're asking that you utilize those, and so we want to see one on the floor of the sauna and then one on the bench. And we'll talk more about that in the training video, but that's really to absorb any sweat and things that are coming off each individual, and that'll help with the cleanliness of the space. We're going to then ask that you use those same towels and things after you get out of the cold plunge. The room is sloped, right? So the water should move to our new drain that's in the middle of the room, but we want to make sure that, hey, there's a lot of people maybe coming through the space, so let's make sure we're drying up any of the big excess water that's there. Before we put the towels back in the hamper, we'd like to have you guys put those on the drying rack, and you'll see that once you're in there. But we want to try to dry the towels because the laundry service will come every few days, not every day, so we want to make sure that we're not putting a bunch of just wet towels in the hamper. So some just general protocols, right, when it comes to sauna and cold. Some of you, this will be the first time ever using the sauna or the cold. Just know, hey, listen to your body, right? You want to approach this just like you would any other activity. You want to have had plenty to drink that day. You're going to want to have had several meals depending on what time of the day, but you want to have food in your system. You want to be preparing this just like you would be to go work out, right? Any cold or any heat is going to show benefits. So you're going to, as an individual, be on your own journey to increase duration. But here are a few general recommendations for the sauna, right? At a minimum, a lot of the published research said that you want to try to do at least 20 minutes inside of a session. That could be 10 minutes. You get out for a few minutes and then another 10 minutes, or just 20 minutes in one chunk or longer. But that really is going to be dose dependent on you and how you feel. Especially if you're coming from a workout, you'll notice that your ability to stay in there longer will diminish because your core temperature is already elevated. So you want to make sure that we're not staying in there for too long. But 20 minutes is a good baseline for the sauna. Now on the cold, that's going to be the most challenging for most. Your target would be any cold is good, right? So if you get in there and it's 30 seconds, awesome. But ideally, we'd like to be in there for about 2 to 3 minutes. That will take some time to build up to. So day one, hop in there, control your breath, try to get to at least 30 seconds to a minute, and then just slowly from there, we'd like to build up to 2 to 3 minutes. Really, no one should be in the cold for longer than 3 to 4 minutes at a time, especially at the temperatures that the plunge will be operating at. We'll talk a lot more about the guidelines and some other protocols from going from hot to cold contrast therapies, but really just kind of wanted to set your head around two things. Doing it as frequently as possible. A lot of the published research that's out there says doing sauna and cold immersion on a regular basis is where we're going to see the most benefit. If you just do it once a month, I don't know that you're going to move the needle. But if we're doing it 2, 3, 4 times a week, that's where we're going to see a lot of the benefits. So make sure we're thinking about this as a frequent recommendation for training, or for being inside both of those exposures. And then just some general accumulation, right? If we can get 20 minutes a day or 20 minutes per session of cold or of sauna, and then 2 to 3 minutes in the cold, that would be really the sweet spot from a starting perspective. Let's talk about the membership, right? So this is going to be a paid service. The shower is free, right? So the shower is in that space. That's for everyone to use whenever they need to. But the sauna and the cold plunge are going to be a paid membership service. We have lots of members today who go and get these treatments elsewhere. They pay $100, $150 a session. These are going to be monthly rates that would apply to utilizing both the sauna or the cold. They're kind of a combo. So just want to talk through that a little bit. Our introductory rates are going to be a month-to-month option, right? So if you just want to try it for 1 month, it's $75. If you want to sign up for a 12-month package, it'll bill out at $65 a month and just auto-renew in that fashion. Now, what comes inside of this is also you're going to get 24/7 access, which today is $25. So for those that already have 24/7 access, which a bunch of members do, you're just going to pay the delta between $25 and $65, and that's a $40 increase, and you'll have access to 24/7 access, heat, and the cold tub, and obviously all the things that we have in that room. We are providing towels, so we thought that would be the most simple solution, right? We don't want folks to have forgot their towel and then not use one, or then maybe don't use the sauna that day. We want to provide those for you, make that very turnkey. So we're going to provide those. You'll see that there's going to be a whole towel where a whole rack where we have all the towels, and then we're going to have a laundry service come and take care of those for us each week. So that being said, the next steps. First of all, there'll be a sign up that goes out in the email. So put your name on there so we can get you all of the training and the waiver, and just understand that, hey, you're signed up. We'll then do a specific waiver for the sauna and cold. I'll send out the cold and sauna training later in the week, and we're targeting a start here in February 1st. So with that, I included a few resources because, again, I'm not an expert, but I've been doing this for about 5 years, and really have seen the benefits of the sauna and cold therapy. But there's a lot of published material out there, and so I linked a few of the big podcasts as well as some of the other articles that you would probably find beneficial. So check those out, and we look forward to getting a little fire and ice with you guys. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us, and we will be in contact soon. Happy Tuesday.